$5 a day. That's it. Less than what most people spend on a coffee run, and yet almost nobody believes it's enough to matter. Somewhere out there, 25-year-old is deciding that $5 a day isn't real investing, that it's not worth the effort until they have more capital, a better job, a clearer plan. Meanwhile, someone else quietly starts today, with exactly $5, and does nothing more impressive than repeat it. One of these two people is about to make the more expensive mistake, and it isn't the one you'd expect. Let's keep this fair. To make this fair, we give both people identical starting conditions. Same age, 25. Same market exposure, a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, averaging roughly 8% annually over the long run. Same 30-year window until age 55. Person A starts immediately, investing $5 a day, about $150 a month, without exception. Person B decides to wait. Not forever, just until they feel. At 40, Person B starts investing $300 a month, telling themselves the bigger number will make up for the lost time. Two people. One market. One question. Does starting small. On paper, Person B's decision feels like the smarter one. $300 a month sounds serious. It sounds like a real financial plan, the kind you could tell a friend about without flinching. $5 a day, by comparison, feels almost silly, too small to notice, too small to brag about, too small to matter. Person A gets no social credit for it. There's no dinner party story in. I invest the cost of a coffee. Person B looks financially mature. Person A looks like they're not really trying. But feelings and math are different things, and only one of them compounds. Let's run the early numbers, because this is where Person B's decision looks completely justified. By year 5, Person B, investing $300 a month starting at 40, has already poured in more raw capital than Person A has contributed at the equivalent point in their own timeline. Person A's tiny daily contributions, still compounding from a much smaller base, look almost irrelevant next to Person B's larger, more aggressive deposits. If you froze the story here and asked which strategy looks smarter, the answer seems obvious. Bigger contributions, invested with intention, are winning. $5 a day looks like a feel-good idea for people who can't commit to anything larger. The math, at this stage, seems to side entirely with waiting and going big. Until you subtract what nobody talks about. Here's what that early snapshot leaves out. First, inflation. Every year Person B waits, the dollars they'll eventually invest are worth less in real purchasing power. Waiting isn't neutral, it's a quiet tax on future contributions. Second, the compounding runway. Person A's money isn't just invested longer, it's invested during the exact years when compounding has the most time to do its work. Those first 15 years Person B skips can never be recovered, no matter how much they invest later. Third, fees. Both accounts pay expense ratios, but Person B's contributions have far less time to absorb and outgrow that drag, since fees compound in the background the same way returns do. Fourth, and most overlooked, the behavioral tax. "I'll start when I'm ready," is a sentence that, for most people, quietly turns into, "I never actually started." Person A's real advantage was never the size of the deposit. It was the clock. Now zoom out. By year 20, something starts to shift. Person A, still contributing just $150 a month, is closing the gap with Person B's larger $300 a month contributions, not because the daily amount grew, but because 2 extra decades of compounding at 8% have quietly done more work than anyone expected. By year 30, the crossover is complete. Person A's account, funded entirely by $5 a day, lands in the low $200,000s. Person B's account, despite contributing double the monthly amount, ends up behind, simply because it started 15 years later. Person A invested less money overall and ended up with more. Not because $5 a day is a magic number, but because time was doing the heaviest lifting the entire time. And time is the one input money can't buy back. None of this makes Person B's decision reckless. Starting later with more capital is a legitimate strategy, especially for someone genuinely building income, paying down debt, or establishing financial footing first. Sequencing matters, and not everyone is in a position to invest at 25. At the same time, $5 a day has its own hidden difficulty. It demands 30 uninterrupted years of consistency, which is a genuinely hard behavioral commitment few people actually sustain without slipping. There's no clean winner here. The real variable isn't which number is bigger, it's which risk you're more likely to actually avoid, losing time, or losing consistency. Zoom out far enough, and this was never really about $5. Most people don't lose to bad math, they lose to money too small to notice and years too easy to waste. Small and consistent beats big and eventually, because eventually rarely comes. So ask yourself honestly, are you actually waiting until you can invest more, or are you just avoiding the discomfort of starting small? The answer that includes everything, the inflation, the compounding runway, the fees, and your own follow-through, is the only answer that matters.